Okay, have you ever thought about this? Like, what does the thought actually look like inside your head? I don't mean the idea, but like the physical shape of it. It sounds like science fiction, but scientists are actually starting to figure it out. And what they're finding is totally changing how we picture our own minds.
For like ever, we've been all about the brain's wiring. But here's a new idea. What if the shape itself, all those squiggly folds and wrinkles, is just as important for how we think? It's a question that's, well, shaking things up.
You know how people always say the brain is like a computer? It's a pretty good comparison, I guess, but it mostly just focuses on one thing, the connections, the wires. And it turns out that might be leaving out a huge piece of the puzzle. This is kind of the classic view. Let's call it the highway network. It's this picture of trillions of connections between our brain cells, our neurons, and all these little signals are just zipping along those paths like a giant, super complicated electrical grid.
But here's the other thing about our brain. The part that does all the thinking, the cortex, is actually a giant thin sheet. So how do you fit a huge sheet inside a small skull? Well, you crumple it up. Seriously, it's like taking a big piece of paper and squishing it into a little ball to fit in your pocket. So now we've got a new mystery. We have the old map, which is all about the neuron highways, and then we have this new clue, the brain's actual physical crumpled up shape. Which one is more important for understanding how a thought works? And this is where my mind just starts racing. Because if the brain's shape is the secret code to how it works, what could we do if we cracked it? What could we unlock in the future? Well, for starters, we could build way better models of the brain. Instead of trying to map every single one of those trillions of wires, maybe we just need to model its physical shape. And get this, it could lead to totally new kinds of AI. An AI that's built with these same shape rules could be way smarter and use way less energy. That's a huge deal. Okay, so is this just a cool idea, or is there real proof? Well, scientists decided to find out. They basically made the two ideas face off against each other in a competition. So, in one corner, you've got the highway network model. It predicts things based on that map of all the neuron connections. And in the other corner, you have the 3D terrain model. It completely ignores the wires and only looks at the brain's physical shape, all its, hills and valleys. The test was pretty simple, actually. Which model could guess what a real person's brain was doing better? Would the brain's activity stick to the roads like cars on a highway? Or would it just spread out like a wave flowing over the landscape? And what they found was a total surprise. Nobody saw this coming. The winner was the 3D terrain model. Can you believe it? A thought isn't just a little spark running down a wire. It's more like a wave of energy that flows across the landscape of the brain. And it's the physical folds and valleys that tell the wave where to go. Now, this doesn't mean the old highway model is wrong or anything. It's more like they figured out it's a partnership. The neurons still create the signals, that's the traffic. But it's the brain's physical shape, the terrain, that guides where all that traffic can actually go. So the really important thing to remember is that it was never a real competition. The wiring and the shape are a team. They have to work together to make a thought happen. One makes the spark, the other tells it where to flow. So all of this new science leaves us with one last, totally mind-bending question to think about. Are our amazing, complicated thoughts and feelings, everything that makes us, us, just what happens when evolution ran out of space in our heads and had to crumple up the map? It's a pretty wild idea, right? And it just goes to show you, we're only just beginning to understand the incredible shape of a thought.